Hi, this is Cousin Russ. I'm going to try this again. I tried to do this recording a couple days ago, and apparently nobody could hear me, but that's okay. I can do it again, and I see that I've got green lights going across as I talk, so that tells me that I am being recorded, which is a good thing. Okay, I'm going to create a new tree. This is one from scratch, and I'm trying to determine if I want to do this project, if I can find enough information to create a 5-generation tree, because a group is a farm, a local farmer is celebrating 100 years in this community. And I thought it'd be interesting to see if I could do a genealogy for them. Now, the family knows their family history, but I bet you they can't document it, or it's not documented. So I'm just going to take a look, because I don't know that I can have enough information, or if there's enough information for me to do this. And did I mention that there was a time limit on this for me? That is, they're celebrating 100 years in September, and here it is in June. So is there enough information that I can create a credible tree in a couple of months? So that would assume that I can find records. The good news is they haven't moved for 100 years. And actually it's longer than that, I believe. But so the farm has been in existence for 100 years. So let me see if I can create this tree. So this is from the plan workspace, and I'm going to start enter what you know, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to enter the person's name. That's all I'm going to put in. Oh, I can put in his sex as being male, but that's all I know. And now I'm going to name this tree, and I'm going to put 100th year in the community, actually in Long Valley. Make it so somebody else will understand. And I hit continue. So I am now creating this new file, and all I have is one person. So the screen is opening, and it's generating the file structure that's needed. And as soon as I get it up, I'll show you what it looks like so far, which is just a name. And there is the tree, and it has his name there in the people workspace tree view. No other information. If I go into the person view, and there'll be no information and no citations, because I just put it in for searching purposes. The first column here is citations, the second is media, and the third is notes, and I'll be talking about them a little bit later on. So I'm going to start by creating a research note for this file, because I'm going to create a research note for all of my work. Now, I like to start it with a bullet. Each of my research notes will have a bullet. And I started out with the date, and I spell out the full year, and then start file. So that's what I'm going to put there. Now I got to make sure that what I want to do is see if there's any records for him. Now, yes, I cheated ahead of time. That I know that there's a record there, but I'm going to walk you through what I did to find that record. So I'm in the person view with Harvey there, and I'm going to go to the web search feature. Now, I started by putting his name in, because when I go to the web search feature, it's going to put in his name, just like I typed it. And it's also down the left-hand column, what's in your file. Now I haven't put any data in because I haven't done a search yet. I'm going to put exact for his name, his surname, because I'm pretty sure that from what I have seen, I'm going to find it. I don't care about the first name, because the first name may become important because there may be more than one. In fact, I know there's two, because there's a father and son, and I'm working on the father. Place your ancestor lived. I'm going to just start at the county. Now, notice that when I started to type, it gave me some place names that Ancestry knows. So I want to use what Ancestry knows as the place name, Morris County, New Jersey, USA. And that's all I'm going to enter. Exact first name. The place name is the county, at the county level, and I'm going to click search. And it is searching. And when I do the search, I always want to see the categories first rather than individual records to see what's there. So I already have, look at all the hits that are here already, just by putting that very little bit of information. Now, what I do want to do is build the fan club, families or friends, acquaintances, and neighbors. And knowing this gentleman, I should be able to find him in the 1940 census. That's the most recent census where I can help build his family, because I'm only going to go by his name and see if I can find his family. So I clicked on the 1940 census and I scroll down, and so far I don't see what I'm looking for. They're all over the place. So I'm going to move this slider from broad to state. Now I'll go to the county. So I want to get rid of this 633 results. I want to get that down to something manageable, and I'm going to click update. So now I'm going to get down to what I want, and it's Morris County, which is correct, but the one I want is in Washington Township. Now, so far, I'm scrolling down and I don't see Harvey that I put in. But there he is, Harvey. Now, I didn't know that's his father and mother. This is what I know, and I believe that he was born about 1927 in New Jersey. Now, so I believe that's him, but I want to look to see if that's him. So I'm going to bring up the transcription. So he is 13 years old in Washington Township, Morris County, New Jersey. That road is correct. Well, actually, it's not correct, but I know where that is, and I believe it is him, because this is the first indication that I believe that they had two farms at two different times, and maybe at the same time. But this is the person that I have in my database. On the right-hand side, lower right-hand side, is what is in from Ancestry. Lower left-hand side is what I have in my database. Now I'm going to scroll down here, because look at all these people. Now, when I do my data on census records, I always merge with the head of household. That is my standard operating procedure, and I'm going to do it here. but I don't have Jacob. Well, let me see if Jacob is in fact Harvey's father, and it says it's the son of the head of household. So that in fact would be, there's the head of household is Jacob. Now, Jacob's not in my database, so I can't merge him yet, but I can add the father. So I click that, add father, and a pop-up comes up. I'm going to put Jacob. He's male, and I'm going to click OK. So now I have Jacob on this side in my database, because when I selected it, it moved me to him. And I'm going to take that census record and click on Jacob. So now I have Jacob in the right-hand panel and Jacob in the left-hand panel. And I see that I have a typo, so I'm going to fix that typo. All I did was clicked on the mini nav bar at the top and went over to People Workspace so I could correct it and go back to the web search. I got an error message up here that says that I changed the name, which I did. Now the left and the right are the same person. So now what I will do very quickly, now normally I work with two screens, but for this video, I'm going to work with one screen to show you what I do. And so I don't have to go back and forth between screens for you. I'm just going to click on the view because I can see that image right within Family Tree Maker, just like this. And there's my family down at the bottom. I will come back to the screen a couple of times because I want the line numbers and see if there's any information down here that is not in hasn't been transcribed. But the most important thing for me is to get the information off of the top right-hand corner of this census record. Now, I said Washington Township. Well, I know because I live there, and that says Schoolies Mountain, Long Valley, and Washington Township. So that's the township, and it does say it's an unincorporated Schoolies Mountain, but I'm going to use Washington Township as the township name. And what I will do is check this. I'll come back because I need this data in my citation. I will come back to it and we will deal with it then. What's important to remember is the Supervisory District 5 and the Enumeration District 14108. The only one I'm going to have to remember is the Supervisory District, and I'll talk more about that when I do the citation, but I don't have to remember the Enumeration District because that's right there. So that's the image, and I found my image. I do know if I look down here to where the family is, there are more people on this last name on this page is Evelyn. Now I'm going back to the transcription, and I see that Evelyn is not the last person in the household, which means that there's 3 other people on the other page, on the next page. Well, I will deal with that then. But I also want to look at the neighbors. I want to look and see if any of these neighbors are family, because sometimes they are, but I may find other names around. For an example, well, that's my family, but if I go up here, this name right here is a name that is in Long Valley, very big name. There's another big name that's in the valley. Now, I don't know how they're going to fit in if they do it all. There's a name of the road that Newarts are on in this census record, and there's the family who the road was named after. So I have looked at before, and I can go to the next page, the next image, and all I did was click that arrow, and I should see green at the top, and there we go. I see the rest of the household. I have to remember to do that. There's another farm name on this next page. So these are all names that are even in this location even today. So I got the right place. I got the right family, I believe. So I'm going to go back and get this data into my database, and I'm going to use the information from the website and then do some evaluation. Before I do that, what I do is copy this data. And I do that because I'm going to paste it into my database. So I highlighted it, and wait a minute, sorry, something happened here that I got to take care of. And let me do that again. I want to copy that citation information that Ancestry has, because I want it into my citation notes, because there's some data there that I will need for my evidence explained citation. So I've got the family here. Now I'm going to do the merge, and I know it's the right family, the right name, and I click merge. And I have in my Windows clipboard the data that's at the bottom of that screen. So here we go. I got the name. The first thing I want to point out that the data in my tree is in the left-hand column, and I didn't have anything but the name. And the information in the right-hand column is what Ancestry wants to bring in. This first entry has Jacob and Jacob spelled exactly the same. And it says discard. I have the option to discard or use it as an alternate name. In this case, since it's exactly the same, I'm going to discard the data from Ancestry, but there's a check mark that says keep source. So when I merge the data, the citation is going to be on the name fact. It's going to bring in the birth. The census record doesn't give the birth year. The census record gives you the age. So that's key note about the date is about. In 1935, this was a great feature of the 1940 census, says he was in Washington Township, Morris County, New Jersey. That's good. April 1st is when the official date from the census, and it's going to bring this data in, and I'm going to click next. Now, this person, Kate, his parents, his mother, is not in my database because I didn't have his mother's name. I had the choice to ignore this person or add this person to my data. Now, why? I don't normally see this, but in fact, that his mother and father were living in his household. So this is a 3-generation household in this census record. I love it. So I'm going to add her to my database, and there's no options because I don't have anything in my data. So it's just going to add the data to my database. Here is his father. Over here it says parents, Kate and Harvey S. He's not in my database, so I'm going to add him. And next, this is a spouse. So this is Jacob's spouse. She's not in my database. I'm going to click add. No choices. There is a Sarah, a child. I'm going to add her. I have Harvey, but that's Sarah. So I'm going to add Sarah, and I'll get to this bottom option in a minute. So I'm going to add Sarah and Harvey. So I'm going to merge what Ancestry is going to give me into my database. For me, this translates into no typos. I'm going to record exactly what was in the record, or the transcription of the record, and bring it into my database. I can deal with conflicts later if there are any. So I click next, and I have options again. It's the same name. So, I spelled his name wrong. So I'm going to, it is Harvey. I typed Henry, and there's a story behind that, which I won't go to in this recording. But his correct name is Harvey. But this also shows me how to use the feature. I don't want Henry as an alternate name. I just typed it wrong when I entered it, when I started this recording. So I'm going to discard what I have in my database, which is in fact wrong because I had a typo when I came in, but it's going to bring in all of this data. So I click next, and here is the summary of what I'm about to do. I can cancel or I can go back, but this is a summary of where I am now. This is all the data that's coming in, or what I'm proposing to bring in. In this case, the most important thing is that there's an item to merge, and there is a media file. That's that census image that I looked at. I will bring that in. Now I'm going to have to do a to-do list here when I get the chance to do that, to go back and get that second page if I choose to bring those other people in. I haven't looked, I don't know who they are yet. I will go back to that image. That's something I'm going to have to go back to the image to look, because you notice I did that transcription are not listed here. I will have to deal with that. There is a child in that household that is in a transcription, which I will show you in a bit, that is not listed as a child on this screen. I want to click merge now. So what is happening now is that the data from Ancestry is being brought into Family Tree Maker. By the way, there is that child who's 3 years old who did not come in with that merge. If I look at that record, which I will a little later, I'll find that it is a foster child, and these 4 people are boarders, but we'll deal with them when it's time to deal with them. So that last image said, so now what do I do? The very next thing I'm going to do is deal with a citation. That's probably the hardest thing to do, but I do it first. So I have to deal with it again. It's not that I have to do it. Did I cite everything? No, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to tackle that hard one first. So I go to the sources workspace, and there is the citation, and there are all the facts. 36 facts came in on that merge. This citation is wrong. Bottom line, you don't have to change it. I do. Okay, I mentioned before that I went to the web search and I highlighted and copied this data. So what I'm going to do is click on the notes for that citation, the notes tab, and I'm going to paste that data into the citation notes. I'm going to clean up the formatting just a little bit so I can see it. What's going to be important is this number right here, which is the roll number and the record number. and but it'll be right here on my screen. This data is wrong. This is what's going to create the reference note. It's wrong, and I'm going to fix that here in a minute. But I want to, before I go do that, I want to clean up my citation. I'm going to uncheck these two boxes. I don't want them to show up in my reference note. I'm going to, this record is for Jacob Ort. I'll hit two returns, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And space, colon, space, accessed, 28 June 2016. That'll become important. This is the date that I accessed this record. It'll be reflected down here in a few minutes. The other two reasons why I like the web merge feature is that it puts the URL for that record with this globe. So anytime I hit that, see a globe, I know that I can go look at the record. If I'm on this page, there's a link to that record. So I always can get back to that image directly, or to the record directly. Now the hard part. Hard part is the citation detail. Well, if I look at the citation right now, it's going to say, down here it says 1940 United States Federal Census, and Washington Morris, New Jersey. Well, I'm sorry, I can do better than that. And I will do that when I create the template for this citation. I know from experience that citation detail, I need to say Washington Township. Here's where the memory comes in. The image said Supervisory District 5, Enumeration District 14-108, and I see that right down here. That's a enumeration district. Now, why do I add the supervisory district in here? Well, the 1940 census taught me that it's important to know what the supervisory district is when finding a enumeration district in a subsequent census record. The supervisory district probably doesn't change too much over time, but you almost can guarantee the enumeration district will change over time. So if I can, within hours from the 1940 images, census images, before they were indexed, I was able to find my families because I knew the supervisory district, and I was able to find the person within that supervisory district by scrolling and browsing through the records, but that's not a bad thing. So I in my database will reflect the supervisory district, and I will type it out the way it is on that record. It didn't spell out supervisory district, it said SD. I'm going to record what was on the record. Other census records, it will say supervisory district, so I won't have to worry about filling that out. So I got the supervisory district. The next important part is the sheet number, and that is down here, 8B. Now, Elizabeth Schoen Mills would tell me that I should put penned or pencil. I haven't seen, I've yet to see a census record that is not penciled. So I'll make a note in the notes for this file that I will not use that term in my citation. Yes, it's wrong, but I'm going to assume the default is it's pencil. So, but that's me. The next, so I am going from the state and county, which will be provided in the template format, to the township, the supervisory district, enumeration district, the sheet number. Now I need to get to the line number. Actually, the first column on that census record, let me just go back to show you, since I can do it right here. And I will show you the upper right-hand part of the screen just to show you where I got it from. I just remembered it from when I did it. So there is the Enumeration District 5, Supervisor District 5, Enumeration District 14-108, sheet number 8B, and that's why I spelled out sheet number just like this. So somebody looking at my citation will find the same information here. And while I'm here, I'm just going to make a note that the date that it was enumerated was not April 1st, 1940. This was May 7th, 1940. Now, you can leave the census, the resident fact with the default for 1940. I'm going to change that to 5/7. And this came from experience that I had where I found a family in 2 census records, 2 states, 2 cities. And the only way I determined that they moved between the dates is by looking at the date that it was enumerated. Okay, the other thing that I need off of this is the line numbers. Line number 73 to 80. So I need to put that into my citation. So I go back to the sources workspace. Sheet number 8B, lines. Actually, the first column gives me, now I'm going to put the lines, 73-80, comma, and the street was Wright Road. I'm going to put that in. Now, if the next column is the house number, there was no house number on that record. So I'm going, so I don't have a house number. That's not important. But what is important is the visitation number, which was in that column. So I'm going to put Wright Road visitation number was 187. So that gets me down. That's 187. So you see that I am working my hierarchy: New Jersey, Morris, Washington, Enumeration District, lines 73 to 80, Wright Road, 187. And now I'm going to comma, Jacob Wort household. Learn how to spell. Now, the rest of the information in the citation detail is nothing new that won't be, that's not, I didn't just enter or won't be on the template format. So I just have cleaned up the citation detail, and now I need to create the template for this census record. So I click add, I click new, and by the way, I'm doing this live, but I've done a number of previous recordings doing it in more detail, a little slower, where I talked about templates and all that stuff. So this is just, I'm working on this file, guessing and hoping that you've looked at the other earlier recordings. Source template, I just type in 3 characters. In this case, it's a census, CEN, and I'm given a list. This is a population schedule, 1880 to 1940, census year and location. That's how I choose to do my census record, by location. You can just do it by year, but I like to do it by location. So it asked me for the year, 1940. The state is New Jersey. The county is Morris. Now, this is a, I hope that at some point in time this gets resolved, because I know in the output the word county will not be included, and you saw that Ancestry did not bring in the county name. I will fix that a little bit later on, but I want to spell out Morris County. The publication number, that's that T627, which was in the screen below that you can't see. This screen is highlighted, and my moving it's not going to help. Oh, there it is, right here. It says it's T627, and the roll number off the screen was 2373. I showed you that earlier. 2373 is the roll number. Website is Ancestry.com. So let me put Ancestry.com. The publisher is Ancestry.com Operations Inc. And the 1940 census was published in 2012. I'm sorry, publisher location, Provo, Utah, year 2012. So I put the URL is http://www.ancestry.com, and now my template has been created, and I'm not going to fill it out yet. I'm not going to fill it out, period. I'm just going to click OK. Now on the left-hand side, you see that I have 2 source groups. The one I'm in is the one where I have my data, and here's one without the citation. So what I'm going to do now, and this is a fun part, I'm going to take this data, the time that I spent on crafting my citation, I'm going to move it from the free format citation into the template formatted citation. First thing I can do is get rid of the one that I'm not using, and I right click and delete source citation. It asks me, are you sure? Yes. So now I have almost the correct citation that I need for this record. What I'm missing is this date, which is why I typed it in here. So all I have to do is copy and take my cursor down here. I go to the space to put my cursor between the M and the closed parenthesis, and I paste the date it was accessed. So my citation is now complete. My notes are here for the citation. There are the links, and there's a media file here. Now, here's what I do with the media file. I'm going to put my cursor in the reference note, right-click, select all, right-click, copy. And here's why I do that. I want to come over here to edit that media file. I'm not going to do anything to the picture, the image. What I am going to do is put the citation, the correct citation format, into the description. So there's no doubt about where that image came from. While I'm here, I'm going to do one more thing. I want to clean up the caption for this citation. I'm going to put the caption with the name first, space, dash, space, 1940, federal census, and I'm going to get rid of the data after that. So that is the caption for this image. There's a citation for the image. Now I want to put it into a category. So I'm going to click edit, and I have some default media categories. I'm going to put it into the census category. And I click OK, and I click OK. So I have the media taken care of. The one thing that I haven't done yet is rename the file. I can do that a little bit later on. The notes that I brought in from the description of the record, and here are the links. My citation is good now. So I did the hard part first. It really, once you get into the rhythm of it, it doesn't take as long. I'm just trying to walk through verbally, step by step, what's going on. Since it was Jacob's record, I'm going to click on his name, because here's the next thing I want to do. I double click on his name, and now I want to enter the research notes. There's a lot of data here. I'm not looking at it. I'll take care of that in a minute. I want to get my research notes going here. So I'm going to put in today's date and 1940 census. So what that's telling me is that that's where I just got the data from. Now, what I am going to do is Control C, highlight that entry, hit Control C, because I need to put a reference note, research note on everybody that I just brought into my data. So that was the head of household, his wife. I go into reference notes. These two are yellow. That's the note, research note, and it's locked, so it's private. It's just me, and it's research notes, and I paste it. I'm going back to Jacob and go to his father and paste the research notes. Paste the research notes on his wife. Now Jacob had a son, and remember, he's the one we started with. And you can see that I started the file. So now I added 1940 census. I'm going back to Jacob, the father. Oops. Pull down menu, and there's Sarah, the other child. Those are the new people that I brought into my database. So I got people in. Now I got more cleanup to do. I use the place name authority in Family Tree Maker, meaning that I want it to end up in the same place to be consistent, and I want to be able to use the map. This says New Jersey, and if I look over here in the place name, there's a drop or a menu item that says Resolve Place Name. So I click on that, and it's going to give me a note that says New Jersey, USA. So I'm going to replace New Jersey with New Jersey, USA, and I click replace. Look what happened. It says this place name, New Jersey, is used for 6 other facts. It's asking me, do you want to change them all or just this one? In this specific case, I'm going to change them all so I don't have to update all 6 of the other ones one at a time. I click OK and it's done. The next item is Washington, and it's still got that question mark, resolve place name. I open it. Here is where I'm going to enter Washington Township, and I'm going to add Morris County. And I'm going to click search to see if it's a place name that Family Tree Maker knows. Washington Township, Morris County, New Jersey, USA. So it found it, and I'm going to replace what was there with this new entry. And again, it says this fact was used 6 times for the 6 people that I brought in, and I want to change them all with one mouse click. Here it is again, but there's some more data here. When I did it before, USA wasn't there. Down here, the USA was there, but it's still not right. There's no check mark, but I'm going to add Washington Township, and I'm going to add county. And you see how it popped up? It's suggesting that the place name is there. The difference was that USA was not on that 1935 fact for the place name, but it was in the 1940. USA was there. USA versus not USA was brought in from Ancestry. Again, do you want to update all 6? I said absolutely. So I've got my place names fixed. I've got the citation here. There's a citation for each of the facts. This is, since the citation has a media file, there's a comma there, or a column there with the number of media, and you can actually see it right here. If I were to double click that, you see that globe. You see this view source online. Both of them are active. So I don't have, if I want to go back to look at it online, I have it right there. Now, there's an entry here in the description for the place name, for the residence fact. Now, this came in with the merge. Most people, in fact, I used to delete that, but I have found it very helpful to have it there available to me. And the fact that when I want to display this data somewhere, I have the ability to include or exclude the description field, because this is the date field, this is the place field, this is the description field. When I run a report, I have the option to include or exclude the description field. So when I run a report with a residence fact, I'm going to not include the description field. It's a great feature. But I'm not done. Now, if I go back, I'm still working on Jacob, and I want to go back to the transcription for Jacob. And I do something that may be weird, but I have found it really helps. I'm going to put my cursor in front of the name and scroll down and grab the whole household and hit Control C. I've highlighted the data, the transcription. I've highlighted it, and now I'm going to go back to the person. And since this is the residence fact, I'm going to put that into notes. So I click notes and paste. Now I'm going to have to clean this up, and that's okay. I clean this up. But as I'm cleaning it up, I actually look to see what I'm cleaning up. Now I just happen to know, because I've done this once or twice, that how I need to edit it and format the data. And again, there is a notes report that you have in Family Tree Maker that you can um, bring this data in if you want, or look at the notes. So it's worthwhile. You can enter it, and the nice thing is you can also um, you can see it when in a report if you want. Now, here's why I do this, and I don't mind taking the time, because what I'm checking is what was on the um, transcription. I want some of that data that was not merged, I want to manually add it. Now, I have learned that I want to capture, if a record says what the marriage status is, I want to have that information. If I look at a timeline for a female, I will see that she was single, married, or single, didn't find her. I can look to see that she may have gotten married. So I'm going to record marriage status. So I'm going to click the plus sign. This is to add a new fact. And if I scroll down here or type M for marriage, I don't see a marriage status fact. I'm going to click new, and I'm going to type in marriage status. Now, before I can do anything, I have to say is that it's an individual fact. Date and place, no. Date, place, and description. I don't want the description only. I will enter the date and the description when I enter the data. So I'm going to click OK. Now I have a new fact, and it says marriage fact. I'm going to click OK. Here is where I put 5/7/1940. That's the date of the enumeration. And Jacob was married. I need to cite that, right? So I will go up here one entry, and I will click on the sources, and the second icon that says copy source citation. So I'm going to select that and click copy source citation, go back to the undocumented, no citation, fact, and new pull down menu, copy link to source citation. You don't want to select the other ones if you're going to copy it. You want to paste the link to the source citation. Now, just as a little heads up, this copy source citation is not the Windows clipboard that I have used before. This is a separate clipboard or space, and so I pasted it. So now there's a citation on that. In 1940, he was married. Now, while I'm here and remembering it, that's the official date for the census. This is my practice. I want to put it to the actual date that it was done, and we determined it was 5/7/1940. Okay, so it changed it. Now I want to go back to edit my notes. So I down to the next field. He was the head, and 1940, Washington Township. Now this says map of house in 1940. I don't find that helpful at all. I'm going to delete that. I think yep. Sorry about that. Oh, I see what I did. I cut too much. Map. And what I want is the street. It's a farm. Now, I could make that fact whether it was a farm or not. So far, I haven't needed to do that. But one of the benefits of having the transcription here is if at some point in time I chose to come back and add that it was a farm, I have the data without going to do any research. The nice feature about the 1935 census is where they lived in 1935. 1940 census where they lived in 1945. Washington Township, Morris County, same house. Now that's not here in 1935, but I believe that's an important thing to put in the description. So I'm going to type in same house. So although it takes me a few extra minutes to do all this editing, you see what I'm picking up as I go through it. I'm looking at the data and seeing if I want to put that in my database. He was a farmer. Farmer's not listed here as a fact, so I just click plus. I type O. It takes me to the first fact that's got an O, and it is occupation. I'm going to put the date and farmer. And remember, I've got that citation in my citation clipboard, so all I have to do is paste it again. Go over to notes, and I go down rented or owned. This might be important. Again, I don't find it important. I might in the future. Also says that the value of the property was $80,000. Did he attend school? No. Highest grade completed. I want that. So I go back and add, do the plus sign, type E, education, 5/7/1940. And that says elementary school. You'll see a benefit of why I'm doing this here. The next one I do because I won't have to retype it. 8th grade. And I'm going to paste the citation. So I'll go back to notes. Whoops. And again, this data is not important to me at this moment. It might in the future, but I have it. It's right here. Neighbors view on the page. I don't find that helpful, so I'm going to delete that. Household members, this I want. So I have the transcription of who the neighbors. Oops, I deleted too much. Oh, that's right. I remember. It's a column header. Sorry. There we go. So I'm going to get his age, into the age column. For each of the persons. Now I'm going to have to remember that I've got to add Lulu. I've got these two, the parents. So now I have the notes, the transcription in the notes. Now, it didn't happen in this record, but if there's a user entered update where you see the square brackets, that will also be brought in here, then I have to make a decision of which is the correct spelling of the name, and that's usually where we find it. So, but I'm happy with what I've got so far. I've got pulled the information. There's something I missed. Street. I want to have an address, but before I enter the address, I want to do something to the addresses. All the addresses that I enter, I want to hide them. I don't want them available. If I were to put this tree online, I only want to look at it. So I'm going to click on Edit. I'm going to do Manage Fact. I'm going to select Address and Properties. And here is the default to make it private. So anytime I enter an address, it will be defaulted as private. So I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to close. I want to add address, which is the first entry. So 5/7/1940. All right, road. Washington Township, Morris County, up there, the resolved place name icon. Now, it doesn't, the place name does not include a street, but there is an option available, detail, like historic, name, address, church, cemetery. I will take that first, up to the first comma, and move it up to this field. So there's Nullwright Road, Washington Township. And it in fact found Washington Township, Morris County, New Jersey. So I'm going to replace it. And it shows up correctly here. And I need to put a citation on it, which I just did. And this lock on the left side means that it's private. So what I did was did one person, and I will go through the same process for each person in my database. I'm not going to record that. I just repeat this process till I get all 7, or update all of the family members. But let me go back to that census record, because what I do want to do is bring in Evelyn Mahoney. No, I want to bring in Lulu Ort, because she did not come in the web merge. So I'm going to go to people. I still have, I have to deal with this before I add her. Blanche. Blanche is a married name, not a birth surname. So I'm going to click plus N for name, Blanche. And my way of handling unknown names is 5 underscores. So Blanche underscore. And I'm going to paste the citation. But here's what I want to do. I'm going to make this preferred. I want a visual reminder that I've got to find her birth surname. I could do it in a to-do list, but my default for not knowing names is 5 underscores. So I can see it very easily that I need to do that search. I won't put it on my task list, will be bad enough as it is. But I want to do one more thing. I want to put a note here. And like I did before, I'm going to start it with a bullet. Date, unknown, birth, surname. Selected as preferred name. I file by birth surname. So the female, I don't know what her birth surname is yet, but I'm making a note of why I changed what was on the census record to this. And if I look here, I see a note, and I would click on the note to see what the note has to say going forward, because I'll end up with people with 5 or 6 different names. But I would, going forward, I would then do what I did with Jacob. But before I leave Jacob, I want to add Lulu. So I'm going to add a person. I'm going to add a child, and her name is Lulu. Ort, and she is female according to the census record. And I'm going to put a citation on her name. I'm going to put a citation on her sex. I'm going to research note. I got a problem here, and let me show you what the problem is. I click on Lulu. On the record, it says foster daughter. So I have to reflect that. So I will go to people, and I will go to relationships. This says that Lulu's biological father is Jacob, and that's not the case. Relationship, pull down menu, foster. So Jacob is the foster father. Mother is the foster mother, according to the record. So now I have fixed that relationship. She's in the database. I need to go back to the fax menu, and let me pick up Lulu again. And now is when I would bring in the data from the census record. And the census record says about 1937, she was born in New Jersey. So I can go back to people and birth, B, birth, about 1937, New Jersey. See, I type in N, it starts bringing up some hints for me of what I have used before. And so all I have to do is select New Jersey. I got to put a citation on it. Residence, 5/7/1940. Washington, I type W, and it shows up. Now, since this was not merged, but everybody else I have information, I am going to put in foster daughter. It's more of a reminder about her when I look at this record, in case I forget, which I will. But it's very visible here. And again, I have control of whether this is displayed in a report or not. Now, she was not alive in the 1935 inferent that inferred where she lived in 1935, because she wasn't born yet. But I will type add the fact code for the marriage census. and it said she was single. She's the first person that I've added as single. Let's see what else did I miss on Lulu. Let me go back and look at Lulu. Single, foster daughter, address. I need to put her address in. Oops, we get to the right place. I want to add a fact. Address is the first one there. All right, so I just typed in and selected it and put my citation. Now, again, I don't think I will do any more people, but I do want to show you why I like to use the place name authority in Family Tree Maker. This allows me to look at some things. How many people did I have in the state of New Jersey? Well, 7 people had an event, and they were all born in New Jersey. So 7 of the 7 people that I have in my database were born in the state of New Jersey. That's what it said. And I click on Morris. Nobody is in Morris. Let's talk about that. This is Washington Township. 7 people had something to do in Washington. Something I messed up. I did this for training purposes. Nobody's on Washington. These 2 are the same place, really, but I messed up in the fact that I'm not sure why it didn't show up where it should have. Washington Township. I'm going to bring it up. Norwright Road, Washington Township, Morris County, replace. That's not right. So there's a way to do this. I'm going to, there we go. Solve place names. Nope. I have to, oh, that's right. I forgot where this command was. So I select Norwright Road because it belongs under Washington Township, not Washington without the township. So it says replace with other place name. Sorry, not sure why this isn't working right, but I will resolve this place name so it goes where it belongs up a level. And this is not acting correctly. I will have to fix this. Anyhow, the purpose is this, that I can go right into, let me go to Norwright Road. There is Norwright Road. And actually the farm, if I had the correct address, the farm was right here. So it tells me who all had an event there. Let me go back to New Jersey where I just had birthplaces. It says link to this place, to this specific place, but link to all. Didn't change the number of people, but if I expand that list, it showed me the residence facts and birth facts. So you can see that all these people had these events took place in New Jersey. One final thing, and I know this is longer than what you accomplished used to, but this is what I do. And again, this is a brand new file, so this is all the stuff that I do up front. I want to add some information about this file. I haven't found any, I haven't looked for any to-do items, but I want to leave some notes. Note 01, unknown names entered as 5 underscores. This is a reminder of how I handled unknown names. I want to put it into a category. I click edit. There's no categories. I want to add one. It's called File Notes. Click OK, and there's a check mark in File Notes. So I'm going to click OK, and I want this high priority. I put all of my file notes in high priority. All people to task to-do list are medium, and as I complete a to-do list, I put them in low and complete. That's how I handle my task list. I click OK, and it's red, and it clearly says what I do. Note 02, birth year only, entered as ABT. So, and I'm going to highlight that because I'm going to use that text again. Edit, file notes, OK, hi. So anytime I just get the age or only the birth year, I will use the word about, and I showed you that. New, note, use the note numbers so I can sort them. Marriage year entered as about, file note. This is so when somebody else follows or looks at my file, they know what I have done. File note. High priority. Note 05, place name authority. Will be used as much as possible. There's 2 exceptions to that, and I will put those notes in here in a second. High priority. Note 6, cemetery, place names will be current place names. Now, the reason why I do that, because chances are when I find a cemetery, it's going to be the current place name, not what it was called at the time of the death and burial. And note 07, pre, oh, so what that note 7 is, colonial place names will be used. I probably won't get back on this file, but I will use the place name on the record that I get the information from, which may be a historical or colonial place name. So there's some notes, the starting of my notes. And I end up usually in a file, I'll end up with 20 or 30 notes, file notes. hundreds of to-do lists, but that's where I start on the notes. So I record this stuff as I go, and this is the beginning of a file. And what I covered, and I will finish this but not record it. For everybody that I brought in, I will enter the data. I will add those extra people. Now, I don't believe that any of them will show up again in this history of this family. They may, but just I'll show you how I do that, is people add unrelated names. So that's how I would add them. So they won't show up on any reports, but I know that they were in that household. That'll show up in the place names. So if I use the map and see anybody that lived on Allright Road, I will see that, including those borders. Lulu will be there because she is a foster daughter. So now one more item to clean up is the sources. I have no citations left in what came in from Ancestry. So I'm going to right click and delete that source. It'll come in again, but this is part of the cleanup that I did in the citation I have. I now have 47 facts linked to this citation. And if I go to the published workspace and I go to the source report, undocumented sources, create the report, I should find no undocumented facts. As I'm closing out for the day, I will come back and look at this report like I'm doing right now to see if in fact there's any undocumented facts, and there aren't. But I look over here, it says extended family. I want all individuals. Now in this particular case where I've shown you so far, everybody is the extended family. I just want to double check to make sure that all people are included. So all of my facts are documented, and that's a very handy report. I look at it every day because it's something that I clean up. So my sources is cleaned up. My media file, the only thing I need to do with the media file is rename it. If I select it, over here's the edit that I did earlier, the caption, the date, the category, and the citation. I have capability of looking at all images or by category. And if there's no image on this left-hand column, that means there's none in that category. There's the one that I have. And none of the others will have images. If I get a document in through the web merge process, by default, it will end up in here as uncategorized. So if I do a web merge, if I don't mark it the way I did for this example, I know to look here. That's a lot of stuff to get started. The good news is that, let me just go see if I have any hints. Look at that. I've got hints already for Lulu. I got a hint for Lulu. That's very interesting. I've got for them. So I've got hints already to follow. Once I clean up finish cleaning up the 1940 census, I will